veterinary medicine. Okay, yeah. Time is yours, Doc.
Thank you very much. I first of all would like to congratulate Dr. Mary and Karen and everybody here. I've been here in Indonesia since 2014, and I have seen this whole development of animal welfare growing, and we're now in 2022, and here's our first animal welfare conference. I am so proud of everybody here and online. So today I would like to tell you something about, I'm a veterinarian from the Netherlands, but in 2014 I came to Indonesia, and since then I've been very much involved, and they keep me busy daily with all the hewan that Jakarta Animal Aid Network is rescuing. So I couldn't say no to them. Basically, I fell into the trap, right? So I started my own little foundation because I see that veterinarians are struggling how to basically implement this animal welfare into their daily practice and into their thinking. And it has overwhelmed me too. The amount of welfare for us veterinarians too, who are looking at all the injuries and all the abuse we see daily and registering that there are animals out there who are hungry and thirsty or injured, you need to be able to, I would like to provide you basically with a tool to keep you sane while you are trying to help these animals, because it's an emotional business, guys, and we need to stay on our feet. And I know veterinarians are going to be a huge part of voicing basically what these animals cannot communicate to us. Now, today I would focus on the dancing monkey. Basically, you can extrapolate it to any hewan. Okay, I'm sorry for my mix of English and Dutch, and if anybody doesn't understand something I'm saying, please tell me. So a little bit of history on animal welfare. Maybe you didn't know, but in 530 before Christ, Pythagoras was already thinking about animal welfare. I know that all of you know Pythagoras from math, right? Well, you didn't know. He is an animal welfare advocate too. Can you imagine? And then, of course, it went through the ages, and AWIC has also already told us about it. You know, people, philosophers, not veterinarians, but philosophers were asking the question, can they reason? Can they talk? No, it's about, can they suffer? Can they feel? Right? So throughout history, you see in Europe, it's starting to be integrated into all the laws. And then you suddenly see the term sentient being, sentience added. And this is what AWIC has also stressed about, what Vivian Gerlich has talked about this morning. This is an important concept. And you also recognize the 5 freedoms of animal welfare, and you see them throughout everywhere. So animal sentience, what is it? It's a difficult word, guys, right? So basically, I break it down to the ability of animals to feel and experience an emotion, whether it's a positive one like joy and pleasure, or a negative one like pain and fear. And then, of course, we have the animal protection laws to protect them against the negative states, right? So we have the World Organization for Animal Health. It used to be called OIE because it was French, guys, and it is very confusing, I know. But I'm glad to say that Indonesia has already been a member since 1954. That's a long time, guys. And if you look at their definition of animal welfare, it means the physical and mental state of an animal in relation to the conditions in which it lives and dies, right? So conditioning. So in your veterinary work, I mean, I did that. I did preventive care like vaccination in dogs and cats. And especially in dogs, the trick that would really give them a positive emotion would be to just offer them a cookie while you're vaccinating them. So the next time he would come to my practice, that they would be wagging their tail, right? That is a positive, affirmative way to make animals happy, right? So here's a happy dog, right? This is not difficult. And now we're talking about wildlife, because satwa liar, guys, that's a totally different field, right? Wildlife considers us as their predators. So that is the major things. And we get very confused in what they are conveying to us. What is this behavior? A lot of people think this is a smile. It is not, guys. It's a fear face. And I think 99% of the people out there don't know this. We veterinarians know, but we need to communicate this. So dancing monkeys, we all know it's long-tailed macaques. They seem as if there's a lot of them out there in Indonesia, but they're not. They're rapidly declining. So there's legislation banning topeng monyet, the dancing monkeys. I don't have to tell you what it is. Their CETA status has skyrocketed from least concern suddenly to endangered. Oh, wow. So their numbers are declining. You have your anti-cruelty laws in the Indonesian law. So there is some sort of protection. And again, you can recognize the 5 freedoms of animal welfare. But how do I do that as a veterinarian? Me, a single veterinarian, right? There's so much out there. So there's so many frameworks, right? The 5 freedoms, the 5 domains. And now Utrecht has in 2022, like Vivian said, published the dynamic concept of animal welfare. Well, let's look at it. It's really clear, right? The green is the good welfare. The red, that's seriously impaired welfare. The yellow one is where we still have to improve something. Yeah, so I'm just cutting it down in simple terms. If you're interested in this article, please do read it from the first letter to the last. An artist friend of mine who's sitting out there, she's Tiwi, she's selling all these nice Jan merchandise. Please go and buy to support them. She made this tree for me. She basically made a beautiful tree saying where we are in the red zone of animal welfare and where we go towards the green zone of animal welfare. And maybe you can appreciate it's the simple things like shelter, clean water, sanitary living conditions, up to the green area of welfare where you have a choice to avoid the negative and to interact with the positive. Yeah. So external factors, internal factors, they all compile animal welfare. Now, you're a veterinarian, you're smart. And what you didn't know, you're also a detective. And with simple tools like your eyes, your ears, your nose, and your brain, you don't even need an X-ray or anything, guys. You can detect so much. You guys are going to help us in the forensic field. This might be a surprise because you guys all know forensics, human forensics, CSI series, where they're all looking at dead bodies. Well, I can tell you, we veterinarians also look at live bodies, live animals, because I think somebody mentioned it, Matthew mentioned it already today. There is a connection, guys, between animal abuse, child abuse, domestic abuse. And we veterinarians are the front runners. We can be the first one to detect this on the animal that is on our table. So you guys have brains, you're academically formed, you're used to document. So please do that rigorously, because you don't know at the end of the road, if you find injuries on that animal, that you might be asked to be a veterinary specialist in a court case, or they might ask you for advice. And that Hewan's document that you made maybe a year ago, maybe a month ago, maybe a week ago, is going to be a lifesaver. because it's going to be very, very important. Now, you work systematically, and in Satwa Liar, 50% is hands-off, yeah, and 50% is hands-on. So as you maybe can appreciate in these systematic steps, you're not even touching that animal in the beginning. No, because Satwa Liar, you do it with CCTV. You talk to the caretakers to get as much information before even touching that animal. Now, I've broken it down in really easy questions. These are the questions we're going to answer. Are the animals properly fed? Let's go and see. So for Macaca fascicularis, you go and find your resources because animal welfare is species specific. It's not the same for dogs or for dancing monkeys. Now I'm going to apologize for some of the pictures I'm showing. Maybe some people need to close their eyes because it's a bit awful. Yeah, guys? So are the animals properly fed? Long-tailed macaques, body weight, you can look it up. Adult male, 5 to 9 kg, female 3 to 6 kg, their diet, you can look it up. We have the body score, of course, because it's not just the body weight. We have all these body types, right, guys? And I put the fish there because they're cute, right? And I hope that you can remember. So there's 2 scales, 1 to 5 and 1 to 9. Pick one, I don't care which one, just write it down, document it, which one you're using, because 3 can be optimal, but 3 in the 9-point scale is thin, yeah? So document. This monkey is too fat. So obesity is also a form of animal cruelty. Unfortunately, the dancing monkeys and the monkeys that Jan rescues are usually too thin and dehydrated. You can appreciate this. Document it. Are the animals healthy? Are there any scars or wounds from abuse? Let's see. Everybody knows that these canines are normal on that one side. On the other side is a dancing monkey. And not a lot of people look inside their mouth, but their canines are not intact. And we veterinarians know how they do it. That's not a veterinarian doing that, that's layman doing it without anesthesia or anything. Can you appreciate how long that root of that canine is into the skull? So if you put pressure on it with that clipper, that is going to make a lot of damage. And from the outside of the cage, I can see that bump on that nose. What is that? We know it from a P4 infection in dogs, right? The domestic people know that. Well, this is from a clipped canine, guys. This is a fistula, right? Fistula is on the chin. So since 2014, I've implemented a dental care system for every individual macaque, and with the goal of releasing them without any oral infection. So let's go. Our Afi, yeah? We rescued him, just put him on his side, make a good overview picture with everything on him, his chain, his clothes, everything. You take everything off, you take another picture, you put that reference there. Do you see the centi there? That's important. I put it on the scale just for reference, and I extrapolate it to a human being carrying a neck chain of 1 kg day and night, 24/7. Not nice. I don't want to do that. What is this? That is from an ingrown chain, ingrown collar. It's a big, big problem. We also see it in pet monkeys around their waist, and it can form and misform them. And it is very, very important. So your wound care, you better be kind to the animal and to your tissue. So I see a lot of veterinarians using povidone iodine, not diluted. You will kill all your new cells. Please dilute it, yeah, guys? So wound care, give clear instructions. Do you see that needle on the one side, still on the syringe? You better communicate that that's a dangerous way to treat that wound, yeah? So animal welfare goes a long way, yeah? Your principles of surgery need to be top-notch. First intention healing. In monkeys, they will try to pull out every knot you have on the outside. So you need to be really good at intradermal surgery and at burying your knots, guys. Yeah. And you need to give them post-surgery enrichment, because not just your surgery is important, but everything around it. And this is not an option. Yeah, you can't tie up a monkey for 10 to 14 days that it takes for a wound to heal. This is not an option. Yeah, so bullets, another injury that we see, ectoparasites. Then are the animals, the dancing monkeys, properly housed? There's our Afi again in his topeng monyet. What do you call this? House? I don't know what I call this. And this is how they kept 6 monkeys. And I don't think that is a good social way for a macaca fascicularis to live. Now, the influence of evidence on animal cruelty prosecution, the judge wants to see your documents, wants to hear you, tell them, to advise you, wants to see those photographs. So please do that and help us in this fight by simply answering those questions. Are they properly fed? Are they dehydrated or not? Document it, and it is your simple, normal veterinary file, guys. Yeah? So help us here. Thank you very much. I hope this helped you a bit.